On this episode of AMA Air, we recap the AMA Foundation Fly-A-Thon.
And we share how you can get your own copy of Drone Pilot for free.
Plus, learn how you can support those affected by the California wildfires.
Hello, and welcome to AMA Air, your source for modeling news. I'm Chris Savage.
And I'm Claire Aldenheisen. The Broken Wings RC Club will be hosting Numb Thumbs on January 1st in Madison, Indiana. If the roads are open, the club invites members to come enjoy flying, chili, coffee, and great fellowship.
The Thermal Thumbers of Metro Atlanta will be hosting an indoor flying event on January 5th in Dunwoody, Georgia. The club will be flying at St. Luke's Presbyterian Church.
The Coachella Valley RC Club is hosting the 7th annual Desert Warbirds January 12th and 13th in Thermal, California. This year, Golden Age aircraft have been added.
The Salina Flying Sportsmen are hosting their 32nd annual swap meet on January 6th in Salina, Ohio. Planes, boats, and cars are welcome.
The Florida Modelers Association is holding an outdoor free flight contest January 8th and 9th in Palm Bay, Florida. The contest will include FAC and FAI events.
For more information on these events or to find one in your area, you can check out the sanctioned event calendar in Model Aviation or at modelaircraft.org.
Coming up, revisit the AMA Foundation Fly-A-Thon. Two AMA clubs each recently received an AMA Club Recognition and Reward Grant. The Finger Lakes Air Pirates in Waterloo, New York hosted their 2018 Open House Fun Fly in September. The event was open to all clubs and the general public.
And the Adams RC Club in Bound Brook, New Jersey hosted their 8th annual swap meet in February. Each year, the club donates a portion of the proceeds to support the Hillsborough Community Assistance Network Food Bank.
The AMA Club Recognition and Reward Program was established to encourage clubs to promote model aviation. The AMA offers clubs cash incentives for positive local media coverage for a public event, public service, club announcement, or other coverage. You can learn more at amafoundation.modelaircraft.org/grants.
Most innovative full-scale airplanes start out as models, and model aviation can have a major impact on aviation research. Recently, a research team at MIT successfully flew a model airplane powered by ionic winds in a controlled environment. Ionic winds are flows of charged particles through the air, and using them to power flight means the aircraft doesn't need moving parts. Stephen Barrett is one of the researchers, and he gave credit to model aviation hobbyists in an article for Smithsonian.com. Barrett said that aerospace engineers in the 1960s determined that ionic winds wouldn't be able to power flight at the time. But, as Barrett said, a huge number of hobbyists and high school students doing science fair projects have built small electro-aerodynamic propulsion devices that suggested it could work after all. And he said their work was pivotal to the early days of MIT's research. You can read more at smithsonianmag.com.
Speaking of innovation in aviation, earlier this year, a new drone startup announced a new drone design that can last up to 2 hours in the air. California-based Impossible Aerospace's drone doesn't rely on a separate battery pack that snaps on or plugs into the drone. The battery is instead built into and throughout the drone. This means that more battery cells can be used, but there is less non-battery weight to offset. CEO Spencer Gore used his experience at Tesla to come up with the idea. He says Tesla helped popularize a model for electric cars where the entire battery is integrated into the floor of the vehicle and connected to the wheels and axles. According to Impossible.aero, the drones are available for pre-order with delivery starting during the first quarter of 2019.
These last two stories just blow me away.
I know, right?
When you think about like the amount of innovation that's taking place right now in and flight, it's incredible.
And I love that it can all be traced back to model aviation.
Yeah, right? So
That's
you've got everybody
amazing.
from high school students doing science fair projects to people that have worked at Tesla. You know, some might argue one of the most innovative car companies that's around right now.
Yeah.
The spectrum of innovation is just mind-blowing for me.
I'm proud of the model aviation community.
Absolutely, right? Right. November 27th was Giving Tuesday, a day to kick off the charitable season and focus on holiday and end-of-year giving. This year, the AMA Foundation hosted a Fly-A-Thon where 4 staff members and AMA members across the country flew for pledge donations. Let's take a look at the event.
This year we celebrated Giving Tuesday by hosting the AMA Foundation Fly-A-Thon. So we encouraged people from across the country to go out and fly and collect pledges and then post about their flying using a hashtag AMA Fly-A-Thon. And then we also had 4 of our pilots who work at the AMA fly here so that people could get on our website and pledge to support them. Combined with our campaign that we had on social media, in our National Model Aviation Museum flying, and then also with our external members who collected their own pledges, we brought in, so far, what I know is over $19,000 in pledges. And I have to tell you, I am elated by that because our goal was $5,000, which, you know, was a big goal because in the past, last year for instance, we raised $3,000 and we were really excited about that. So to bring in $19,000 at least in pledges for one day is absolutely incredible. I'm just floored by your support, your response. We have to say a special thank you to Rusty Kennedy. He is an Associate Vice President for the AMA in District 4, and he's also an AMA Foundation board member. He actually committed to $5,000. Everybody was thrilled. Our pilots here at AMA are really excited that he pledged that, so they all made sure that they hit that 2 hours. And I also have to give a huge shout out to Dean Palermo. Dean is another AMA Foundation board member. You know, he is excited about what the foundation can do for AMA and what AMA does for this hobby. And so he went out, put together his whole this whole campaign where he, you know, asked people to get him to fly like without stopping. And he went out to businesses, business owners he knew, people he knew, and he was like, "I'll even wear your logo on my shirt." And so if you watch his video really closely that he had posted, he's literally changing shirts when battery packs are being changed. So he just went above and beyond, got really creative, and that was, you know, we hope people would do that with this. And he just had a really good time with his friends, flying, and he has over $12,000 in pledges. So we owe a huge credit to Dean for our total pledges. $19,000 can do a whole lot for the AMA, for our programs. And I cannot even explain to you how fast our programs are growing. We have so many teams across the country doing UAS for STEM. We have more and more MASC and UMASC programs where kids are signing up to learn about model aviation and UAS in their schools and the college level now. And then of course we're giving more scholarships away every year. Thank you so much. We hope you'll continue to give. You can do that by just visiting our website. You can go to modelaircraft.org/donate to make a donation online. You can purchase a brick on the AMA Foundation website and buy one for the holidays or in memory of someone, or even just, you know, buy a brick for yourself and have your name out on the Walk of Fame. And then also if you're shopping, Amazon Smile is a good option. They basically just give a portion of your purchase back to charity. So select the AMA Foundation when you're doing that. And you can always call us too. We'll take your donations over the phone. We really want to raise that $300,000 and we need your help to do that. So thanks for your support.
Donations from the Fly-A-Thon are due by December 15th. You can also continue to support the AMA Foundation to help reach its goal of $300,000 by December 31st. Visit modelaircraft.org/donate.
Coming up, we'll take a look at Drone Pilot, a special issue of Model Aviation magazine.
Every journey starts somewhere. Our journey begins with imagination. And imagination can take us anywhere. Because the best journeys end with new beginnings.
Model Aviation magazine's new special issue, Drone Pilot, is now available for download at modelaviation.com. Topics covered range from aerial photography to freestyle FPV. In this video from the magazine, Multirotor Associate Editor Matt Ruddick walks you through the components of an FPV system. Let's take a look.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt Ruddick, and today we're going to talk about FPV systems. Now, drones are popularly flown as FPV aircraft, and FPV stands for first person view, which just means that the pilot can experience flight from the aircraft's point of view. Now, flying FPV requires an FPV system. For a basic system, the first element you're going to need is a camera. Now, there are a few things you'll want to consider when choosing a camera. You'll want to consider dynamic range, latency, and field of view. Let's talk about dynamic range. That refers to the amount of shadow and highlights that you can see together in a single image. Wide dynamic range is extremely important because the camera needs to handle large differences in brightness throughout a flight. If you're unable to see past blinding light of the sun, there's a good chance you might miss your next gate or just crash altogether. Now, latency is how long it takes for a single frame of video to go from your camera over to your goggles. Now, imagine seeing a video a fraction of a second after the video is captured. That means your reaction on the sticks will be behind by that same amount. Now, trying to avoid a tree, if you have too much latency, you could change direction, but in reality, you've already crashed. Now, the latency needs to be minimal to have a good FPV experience, and that's why we still fly with these relatively low-resolution cameras, as they provide much less latency than an HD camera. And remember, the faster the FPV aircraft, the more important that low latency can be. Finally, the lens field of view determines how much of the world the camera can see. A good field of view will provide great spatial awareness without being disorienting or distorting the image. Now, there are two types of cameras. Early FPV systems used cameras built around charge-coupled device sensors, or CCD sensors, because of their low cost, their durability, and their latency. CCD-based cameras offer good quality picture with fast adaptation to light changes. And newer complementary metal oxide semiconductor, or CMOS-based cameras are quickly becoming popular because of advancements that offer even lower latency, better dynamic range, and a generally better, higher resolution image. For many pilots, these choices are very subjective, so take a look at each technology and decide what works best for you. Once you've selected a camera, the next element is the video transmitter. The video transmitter receives the video signal from the camera and converts it to wireless signals that can be received by the pilot. When making your decision, you might consider power levels or the use of certain frequencies. There might be regulations in your area as well, so make sure to check your local laws. Transmitter power measured in milliwatts is usually the most notable specification of any video transmitter. But more power isn't necessarily better. And most FPV transmitters range between 25 and 800 milliwatts. They're also available in several different frequency ranges such as 900 megahertz, 1.2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, and 5.8 gigahertz. Now, 5.8 gigahertz is by far the most practical for small aircraft because of the small size of the required antennas and the relatively low saturation or usage of the 5.8 gigahertz band. Now, if you plan to race and organize races, be sure to make sure that the VTX you choose supports the frequencies that are required, such as race band. Now, once you have your camera and video transmitter, the third element is the video receiver. The video receiver picks up the wireless signals sent out by a video transmitter and converts them back into a video signal, which is then sent to the display or FPV goggles. Some FPV goggles and head-mounted displays might have a built-in receiver. Now, receivers range from simple 8-channel receivers to more complex diversity systems that use multiple receivers and automatically use the one with the highest signal quality. Some of these even offer extended functionalities such as favorite channel selection, basic spectrum analyzers, and a lost model finder, and more. There are also specialty dual receivers that reconstruct the video signal to minimize interference and breakup. These are still new to the market, but they are offering promising results. Now, the last element in the FPV system is the display. The display takes the signal from the receiver and converts it back into an image. Now, there are a variety of options available, such as monitors, head-mounted displays, or FPV goggles. Now, my favorite option is an FPV goggle, although they're usually the most expensive. They are more compact and sit closer to your face, so they're generally more comfortable than head-mounted displays. And they also block out the external visual distractions that you might have using a monitor. Now, some versions of FPV goggles offer more additional features that can be worth the higher price tag, such as a DVR recording and the ability to plug in an external video feed for ground stations. So with your camera, your video transmitter, your video receiver, and your FPV goggles, you have a complete FPV system. Now be sure to check out Drone Pilot, a special issue of Model Aviation magazine. There's a link in the description below to get your copy, to learn more about selecting antennas for your system and other optional accessories.
Visit modelaviation.com/drone-pilot to download a free digital copy of Drone Pilot. Print copies are also available for just $2. I can't think of a better person than Matt to walk our viewers through this technology. I mean, the guy is like an encyclopedia of everything multi-rotors.
Oh, I know. I think we're a little bit spoiled because, we can just walk up to Matt, ask him a question anytime we want. So I'm glad our viewers get a chance to have that experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that whole issue is packed full
Oh,
of
it's great. I've read it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Do you have a story you think we should have on AMA Air? Then visit air.modelaircraft.org and tell us about it by sending us an airmail. And if you're not already a member of the AMA, be sure to visit modelaircraft.org and sign up today.
Recently, terrifying stories of the wildfires in California have been all over the news. They've destroyed hundreds of thousands of acres and more than 7,000 structures. Many employees of AMA Hobbies have lost their homes and all of their possessions. As Flight Test shared on their Facebook page, AMA Hobbies owner Kelly Bennett has started a GoFundMe to support those employees, and AMA is matching dollar for dollar up to $50,000 to increase the fund. Visit GoFundMe.com and search AMA employees to donate to the campaign.
On behalf of the AMA team, we want to extend our thoughts to those affected by this fire.
That's all for this episode of AMA Air. You can stay connected with us by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
For even more videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And from all of us here at AMA, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time, but for now, it's time to get flying.